Overcoming the fear of starting. Do you have fear of starting? So many times you hesitate to begin something new because you feel unprepared. You feel afraid to fail or you feel that you won't be good at it, or that people will judge you, or that you'll waste your time. And there's a famous quote from Zig Ziglar that says, "You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great." So think about the things in your life that you want to do, but you haven't started yet. Or maybe you tiptoed you maybe just researched it. You kind of are going around the edges going, I do want to do this. Maybe I'll read a book on it, or maybe I'll watch a movie on it or a documentary, but I haven't really branched out and started it. What are the things that you want to do and you haven't started? And I want you to ask yourself, why not? Is it because you don't know how? Is it because you're afraid you might fail? Is it because you'll think you're not good enough? But here's what I have learned. If you wait until you feel ready, you will be waiting forever. You will never, whether it comes to starting a new career, going to school, starting a family, getting married, you may feel nervous. You will never feel ready because guess what? It's not based on a feeling. As a matter of fact, your feelings, we can't listen to those. I've taught on this many times. Your feelings may be telling you to run the other direction. Or you may have like a really sick feeling in the pit of your gut when you think about stepping out and doing that thing that you want to do. So, I mean, I had that nervous, nauseous, sick feeling in the pit of my gut probably the first 200 auditions I went on. But the truth is, the only way to get better at something is to start doing it, right? Whether that's speaking in front of a crowd, saying your essay in front of a group of people, um, standing up and reading something at church, whatever it is. So let's explore this idea with some real life examples and some scriptures because God has a lot to say about stepping out in faith, even when we don't have all the answers, right? Isn't that what faith is? It's stepping out and doing the thing, even when you're have no idea what you're doing. So I'm gonna give you like 4 or 5 points on how you can start, um, even if you're afraid. So number one, everything is figure outable. So what is stopping you? So this is a quote from Marie Forleo. She wrote a book called "Everything is Figure Outable." Um, so you can figure out anything. We live in a time where we have access to knowledge like never before. We have YouTube tutorials, books, online courses, mentors, coaches, you name it. Almost anything you want to do is something that has already been done before. And even if it's not something you've ever been done, like if you've never found it on the internet, so you think it doesn't exist, you still have God as your partner. If you have God in your life, the Holy Spirit is guiding you. So you can get the answers for whatever you need to do. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You just need to press in. Maybe you need to pray and fast. Like those of you know, I'm on day 20 of my juice fast. I've had nothing but juice for the last 20 days. It's a challenge. It's a challenge to your flesh. It's a challenge to your body that when you're cooking food for your family and you're smelling all the smells and you're like, oh, you know where we were last night? Last night we went to go tour a school, looking for a private school to put Elijah in. And afterwards they wanted to go to, um, where do we go? Chick-fil-A. You think those waffle fries smelled pretty good to me. I was like, let me just smell your fries. Oh, and I had a juice in my purse. So I just pulled my juice out of my purse and started drinking while the kids are eating mac and cheese and eating French fries. And sometimes you make a commitment and you got to stick to it. Not for anyone else, but for you. That was a little side note. But many of us get stuck because we have excuses. We have excuses all day long. On when the day that my juice cleanse is supposed to end, I'm supposed to be driving to Arizona. I'm thinking, this is crazy. I'm going to have to stop every half hour to go to the bathroom. But I'm staying committed to myself and staying committed, even though this isn't the topic today, but the topic is starting. But once you do start, staying committed is just as important as starting. And without it, you start to not trust yourself. You start to doubt yourself. So let's get out of making excuses because that keeps us stuck. And so let me give you an example of someone else who had fear of starting. Moses in the Old Testament, he felt unqualified. He didn't want to start either. When God told him, go deliver the Israelites from Egypt, the Israelites were enslaved for 400 years. And God chose Moses to save them. Moses was like, who am I? I'm nobody. Moses ran from Israel after he killed someone. So he was a murderer and he was a stutterer. He was not eloquent of speech. So God chose uh, a guy who can't even speak right, who has a stutter, and who was a murderer to go be to bring the freedom to his people who were the slaves. So, whatever excuse you have of not starting, I guarantee you there's people who have bigger excuses who've done it anyway. So, when God told him, go deliver the Israelites from Egypt, what did Moses say? He said, who am I? Who am I that I should go to Pharaoh? Who am I to go stand before the Pharaoh, the king of the land, the most important person in the world? I'm this stuttering murderer, right? We learned this in Exodus chapter 3. Well, I said the same thing when God called me to write a book. I was like, who am I? Who am I to do that? Who would want to read a book from me? I'm not some big, fancy, educated, or well-known person. We all have excuses. And then Moses said, his other excuses, Lord, I am not eloquent. I am slow of speech and slow of tongue. He couldn't even speak properly. We learned that in Exodus 4:10. That was also me. My excuses, thinking I couldn't write a book because I never went to college. Whatever your excuses are, they're not relevant. If God called you to do something, you have to do it. And it starts with starting. So, what Moses was saying with all his excuses was basically telling God the same thing I was telling God. I am not good enough. I don't have the skills. Send somebody else. Get somebody else to do it. But God wasn't asking Moses or me to have it all figured out. He was asking Moses to trust him. And that's the same question he's asking you. Will you trust God to step out in faith and pursue that thing he's put in your heart to do? So ask yourself, are you waiting to be fully qualified before you start? You can't. Faithful is he who calls you, and he will also do it. 1 Thessalonians 5:24. So God is faithful. If he has called you to something, he's going to help you do it. If God put a dream in your heart, he's going to help you bring it to life. Nicholas says, for me, it's time and consistency. We have to check what our motives are. What is the reason we're doing something or not doing something? What is the reason we're waiting? What are all these excuses? I'll wait till next weekend, or I'll wait till next month, or I'll wait till I have this degree, or I'll wait till I get my braces off, or I'll wait till I lose that last 10 pounds, or I'll wait till I'm married, or I'll wait till the kids are out of the house. You have to start. No matter where you are. Yes, if you're raising kids, it may take longer, but start. If you wait till they're out of the house, there's all those years where you could have started. There's going to be downtime. You can work on your dream when the kids are napping or when the kids are at school or when they're asleep. There's no excuse to not work on the dream God put in your heart. He didn't put it in there because you couldn't do it. He put the dream in your heart because you could do it. Yes, Nicola, persistence. We have to have persistence. And afterwards we'll talk and I'll answer some questions and we can get in deeper to what may be making you stuck. So if God put a dream in your heart, he's going to help you bring it to life. So the first thing is everything is figure outable. The second thing is you won't get better until you start. So there's a theory that says you need 10,000 hours of practice to become great at something. That's a lot of time. But the problem is, many of us never even start to put in the first hour because we're too afraid to begin. Think about it. How can you improve if you never practice? No person who's brilliant at anything ever got there just coming out of the womb that way, right? Even the most skilled and gifted people have to practice in order to get their level of confidence up. Yes, sure, there is outliers every now and then. Someone that has some really raw talent that's just a natural at something, but it still has to be refined. Like I've heard of singers or actors that didn't have to take voice lessons or didn't have to take acting lessons, but they still had to practice, right? They had to know what it's like to be on set. They had to know what it's like to be on stage. So even if you're a natural actor, you still have to learn where the camera is, not to look into it, what size shot, how to cheat to the camera, where they're shooting, how to hit the mark, how to walk, how to modulate your volume based on where the microphone is. I have a lot of examples today about acting because I'm getting ready to launch my new acting course, Acting and Having Fun. So, if you want to get on the email list for that, just go to actingandhavingfun.com and get on the waiting list, and then I can email you when the course comes out. But my point is, even in the natural, with natural talent, we need practice, and we shouldn't be embarrassed that we need practice, that we need to get better, that we're not totally awesome the first few times we do something, right? The first few times you rode a bike, you may have fallen off. The first 100 times you tried to stand up and take your first steps, you fell down. And when you kind of were able to take a couple steps, you wobbled. You wobbled back and forth. But guess what? Your parents never said, "Oh, go sit down." You go sit down, baby. It's clear you don't know what you're doing. I guess you're just destined to be a crawler. You're never gonna walk. No, they encouraged you over and over. Come here. Come on. Come on, baby. You can do it. A couple more steps. Come on, right? That's what God is doing for us. He's saying, "Come on, John. Come on, VS. Come on, Nicola. Come on. Come on, Brittany. You can do it." Right? As Brittany's there with her baby. You have to encourage yourself and you have to know God is encouraging you over and over, over and over. Even if it took 1,000 times for us falling, right? Our parents were like, "Get up. You can do it." And yet somehow, as grown-ups, we think we're so much smarter than when we were a child. Yet, if we mess up trying to do something just 5 times, we feel like, "Oh, well, I'm a failure. I'm not meant to do it. I had 5 auditions and I never booked one. Guess I'm not meant to be an actor." No, no, right? I had 7 job auditions, 7 job interviews, didn't get any of them. Guess I don't know what I'm doing. Guess no one's going to hire me. No. We get better each time we try. We learn. Sometimes can even call and get feedback on like, "Hey, how did I do? What would you say I could improve to do better next time I go interview for something?" So you're not a failure if you mess up. You're not a failure if you fail a few times. Doesn't make you a failure. It means you tried something, it didn't work. You need to hone your skills. Example, Peter walked on water. Okay, this is in the New Testament. Peter walked on water, and it's not because he had mastered the skill, but because he was willing to take the first step in faith. Peter got out of the boat. He walked on water to come towards Jesus. But guess what happens when he saw the wind and the wind and the storms and the waves? Bye, Angela. See you next time. He got out of the boat. He came towards Jesus, but when he saw the wind, he was afraid and he began to sink. That is what we do. We see something we're afraid, we begin to sink. We step onto that stage, we're going to give our presentation. Suddenly, everyone is staring at us, and it feels like their our eyeballs are burrowing into our head, and we're like, oh, oh. And then our mind goes blank, and we can't remember the thing we had memorized or we're supposed to say. We have to keep our eyes on our goals. We have to keep our eyes on God. We have to keep our eyes on the outcome, not on, oh, what are people thinking of me? Are they judging me? As soon as Peter started to sink, he cried out, Lord, save me. And sometimes we need to do that. We're in the middle of something and we're failing terribly. We need to just stop, take a breath, and say, God, help me recover this. God, save me. Give me the words to say. Bring it back to my mind. Peter started to sink, but at least he started. The other disciples just sat in the boat. Peter had the courage to step out. And guess what? When he stumbled, when he started to sink down in the water, Jesus still caught him. His faith was evident to everyone. You know, all those people telling you, you can't do it, you're going to mess up, you're going to fail. When you step out to do that thing, they're secretly jealous that you had the courage to step out and do it when they didn't. You know, I stepped out, left my little small town, moved to Hollywood to become an actor. That's a big deal. Whether you reach A level status, B level status, C level status, D level status, whether you're not famous in the movies or TV show, but just on YouTube, whatever, taking the courage to go do the thing, I I am blessed that I'm not going to, when I'm old and gray, be sitting in my rocking chair going, wonder what would have happened if I pursued that dream. Wonder what would have happened if I actually moved to Hollywood. Would I have made it? Would I have been a success? Would I have got to be in some films? I'm not going to have to guess. I'm not going to have to wonder because I took that leap of faith and there's something burning in you right now. There's something that's calling out to you that you can feel when I'm talking to you about this that's saying, let's do it. Why not you? Why not now? Why not today? Maybe I don't need to have everything figured out. So Peter was the only one who stepped out of the boat. Yeah, he sank, but God caught him. And that was a testament. So ask yourself, are you letting fear of failure keep you from even stepping out, from even trying? Right? Proverbs 24:16 says, for the righteous falls 7 times and he rises again. So falling isn't the problem. Not getting back up is the problem. You're not meant to stay down. You're meant to overcome. You're meant to win. Number 3, fear disguises itself as logical excuses, right? But what is underneath them? Fear, fear. Fear is underneath the logical excuses. I don't have enough experience. Fear of failure. I don't have enough money. Fear of lack. Fear that God won't provide. I don't have the right connections. Fear of rejection. I'm too old. I'm too young. Fear of inadequacy. Fear of not being enough. Do you see that these seem like logical excuses, but it's really cloaked in fear? Fear disguises itself as logical excuses, and the enemy loves using fear to keep us from stepping into our calling. But guess what? The enemy is a liar. Fear is a liar. You probably have heard the acronym when people say fear means false evidence appearing real. So we think this thing is really scary, but it's not even real. It's something we've conjured up in our head to be scared of. And there's a couple other acronyms for fear. One is forget everything and run. And that's what most of us do. But there's a third acronym for fear, and that is face everything and rise. You have to face your fears. To get ahead, you have to take that step out of the boat. You have to do that scary thing. What is that scary thing? I told you for me, it was moving to Los Angeles. Also, when God started telling me to step into a speaking career and write books, those were scary things for me too. Back in 2019, I did my first like book launch slash, it was kind of a, I'm on stage for like an hour and a half presenting all my material from my books, and I have an audience, and I was scared that nobody would show up. I was like, I don't know, maybe not even five people will come. I thought nobody would buy a book. I was completely wrong. You know, these fears that we have are lying to us. I had like probably at least 60 people in the audience, and I sold over $400 worth of books, and I thought I wasn't going to even sell one book. So, Gideon, here's another example. Do you remember Gideon? Gideon felt unqualified and he was fearful. This is in Judges chapter 6. God told Gideon he was a mighty warrior who would save Israel. But what did Gideon say? Ah, um, pardon me, Lord. How can I save Israel? My clan is the weakest clan, and I am the least in my family. Do you see how God has a history of choosing the other people wouldn't choose, right? When Gideon was chosen, he was the weak from the weakest clan, the least in his family. He chose Moses, who was a stutterer and a murderer. He chose David, who did not even get invited to his own coronation as king. When Samuel came to choose a king, was it Samuel, the name of the priest? I don't remember the name of the priest, but I think it was Samuel. Anyway, David's dad invited all of his other brothers. It was like, I don't know how many other brothers he had, like 11 other brothers or something. And he was going to choose which one is the king. David's dad didn't even consider him to be an option. Like, there's no way. I mean, his own father thought there's no way he would ever get chosen to be king. So he left him out in the field, uh, tending sheep. For those of you who don't know, that was not considered a good profession. Like the lowest of the low would be the one out in the field tending the sheep. Okay, so Gideon gets chosen to be a mighty warrior who would save Israel. He's like, oh, me? But God didn't see Gideon as weak. He saw him as strong and victorious even before he started. And that's how God sees you. Whatever excuses you have, they don't hold up. Because if God chooses you, he knows something other people don't know. He also knows something that you don't even know. There's something inside you that is greater than what you can see right now. And if you saw yourself the way God sees you, you would be like, let's go. We got this. Me and God together, we can accomplish anything. So if you could see yourself as the mighty, strong, capable, worthy, loved, accepted, victorious person that you are, you would not be home scared making excuses. So even when the angel of the Lord approached Gideon, Gideon was hiding. He was hiding from his enemies in a wine press, threshing wheat. You don't thresh wheat in a wine press. He was in there so no one could see him, hiding from his enemies. And the angel of the Lord's like, mighty man of valor. And meanwhile, he's shaking in his boots. Okay, ask yourself, what excuses have I been making that are really just fear in disguise? Because Second Timothy 1:7 tells us, for God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of love and of power and of a sound mind. You have a sound mind. You have power. He's not giving you a spirit of fear. Fear isn't from God. So why are we letting fear make decisions in our life? We have to make an effort to move forward into our calling and not let fear dictate where we are. The Bible tells us more than 300 times, do not worry, do not be afraid, be strong, be courageous. Have you ever thought for a moment if you're letting fear rule you or dictate what to do, that you're actually being disobedient to God? God gives you a command not to fear. So when you are afraid to do something, whether it's ask that person out, go take that medical test, um, try out for that job, you're being disobedient to God by having fear. I'm letting that one sink in for a minute. By not going to do the thing you need to do, you're being disobedient to God, who told you not to fear. He said, Lo, I am with you always, even to the end of the age. So he's with you when you have to step out on stage. He's with you when you have to make that presentation. He's with you when you have to step into that tube for an MRI. He's with you when you have to go to that job interview. He's with you no matter what. Number 4, you learn as you go. Nobody starts out great. Nobody is expecting you to be an expert on day one. That's what beginnings are for. Every successful artist, writer, business owner, and athlete started out as a beginner. I've mentioned I had to write 500 bad poems before I wrote one that I was actually proud of. A baker might have to make 20 or 30 cakes before one turns out perfect. A musician might play terrible for years before getting good. So, an example, we talked about David, how he didn't even get invited to his own coronation to be chosen as king. David's journey to becoming king was not was not without bumps. He was anointed as king as a teenager after um, the person that came to anoint him went through all the other brothers, and he was like, even the priest was like, surely this one, talking about his one of his big brothers, oh, surely this one must be king. Look at him. He's great looking. He's strong. And God was like, nope, not him. Nope, not him. Nope, not him. And they went through all the people. They went through all his other brothers, and finally the priests asked the dad, do you have any more sons? Oh, I mean, like David, he's out in the field. He's not the one you want. But he was the one God wanted. It didn't make sense in the natural. You may not have it all together. You may not have the looks, the talent, the resources, the whatever. It doesn't matter what you have according to what the world says you should have or what society deems as you being worthy. It matters that God has chosen you. So David is anointed as king when he was a teenager in 1 Samuel 16, but he didn't actually become king for years. For years. So you may start something, and this is like, keep that persistence. Don't give up, because sometimes from the time you start to the time you actually become that thing you want to do, it can take years. For those of you who know, I was an actor for 18 years before I booked Dar Man. And that's where I'm most known from, at least at this point in my career. I'm most known for that show. And many people are like, wow, you're so good. They'd send me all these notes. Have you ever acted before? Because you're like a natural. And I'm like, yeah, I've taken acting classes for 20 years. I've been acting for 18 years. Sometimes you're not going to be revealed right away. Don't let that discourage you. And don't think that just because you start, you're going to become an overnight sensation. If it's what you want, it's worth working for, and it's worth taking whatever time it needs. So David didn't become king for years. In the meantime, what did he do between the time he was called to be king to the time he actually became king? There was a lot of in between time. He fought lions and bears and giants. And even the current king himself chased David for years, trying to kill him as David ran for his life and hid in caves. I'm not saying this to discourage you, but I'm saying this. We have to start. We have to have the courage to start. We also have to think, we also have to know, I'm going to keep going, even if it's not a overnight. I started, God. I've been doing this for 3 months. Shouldn't I be like, wow, by now? Maybe not. Maybe somebody's path is to be wow in 3 months or a year, but it's also not practical, right? His journey wasn't instant. It took practice, patience, persistence, and not giving up in the face of fear. How many of us would have given, like, I don't even want to be king. The current king, he's chasing me down with his army and trying to kill me, and I'm hiding in caves. I'd be like, no, God, I'm good. I think I'll go back to watching the sheep, and I'd rather fight lions and bears than the king and his whole army. Ask yourself, am I willing to be bad at something before I get good? It's worth it, right? Zechariah 4:10 says this, do not despise these small beginnings, for the Lord rejoices to see the work begin. God's proud of you and excited just for starting. That takes a leap of faith. That's the stepping out of the boat. God celebrates your first step, even if it's small. So be happy with yourself for trying. You don't need to only be happy when you win or only be happy when you become successful. You can be happy that you're going after the dream in your heart. It's not easy when you're in the messy middle. Like when Nana was putting her poetry book together and she was having to look for her poems in every nook and cranny and every notebook and every drawer and like years, decades worth of writing to compile them. It's work, but the end result is so worth it, right? So you can be happy going after the dream. Nana saying yes. And how many lives has her book touched and people who reach out to her saying, wow, your book really ministered to me. I get those emails too, and it's so special. And on my YouTube channel, people saying, like, you've got the best YouTube channel out there. I can't believe you're not like blown up. But you know what? It's the results are up to God, not us. Our what's up to us is that we go out and do it, that we start, that we try, that we're consistent, that we're persistent, that we keep doing, that we keep going and doing our best, that we go after that dream in our heart, even if we stink a little bit in the beginning, even if our first YouTube video or book or first time we play the violin, even if it stinks. You got to be willing to stink a little in the beginning. Be proud of yourself for stepping out of your comfort zone and trying. Each time you try and you practice, you get better and better. And just attempting to do that thing, just attempting to do it, that builds courage. Man, that builds courage. So keep going and don't let failure or a false start or a fall keep you from your dreams. So, what is this all about? It's about just starting. Stop waiting for the perfect time. It doesn't exist. Stop worrying about failing. Failing is part of learning. I'm telling you this right now, you will fail. You will probably fail miserably. You will probably stink. There's some auditions that I just wanted to crawl under a rock. I was so embarrassed of how I was in the room. I stunk. I was so bad. But I kept going. I got up from my humiliation, crawled out of the room, and I kept going. Stop making excuses. They're really just fear in disguise. God is calling you to step out in faith, whether it's writing or speaking or singing or starting a business or getting that job or going to school or something else. The world needs what's inside you. Only you have it. Nobody else has it but you. Proverbs 16:3 says, commit your work. to the Lord, and your plans will be established. So, what is one thing? Put it in the comments. What is one thing you've been afraid to start? Make that decision today. Take that first step today. Stop talking about what you're going to do someday. Someday is not a day of the week. How about starting Thursday, Monday, Tuesday, Sunday, Wednesday? Not someday. Someday is not a day of the week. And you may see these people, you may have people in your life that are always talking about what they're going to do someday. I'm going to share with you an exclusive sneak peek from my new up and coming book, not even out yet. My new book is called Smoking Hopium, and it's all about the experiences I've had in Hollywood the last couple of decades, pursuing an acting career, people I've met, I've run into, experiences I've had, personal things. And this is called Poser. And I'm sure you may have met many posers in your life. And this is to light a fire under you so that you don't become just another poser. So here it is. You've great ideas, I've heard for years. You primp and pose amongst your peers. You make grand plans with passionate heart, but can't complete what you don't start. Afraid to fail, you dodge most things. Yeah, some won't work, and backlash stings. That feared response, the mental trap, will they throw rocks or stand and clap? Yet what you do, how you react, determines if you stay intact. Don't let the game max smack you down, complain and curse, decked in a frown. You're born to blame. Claim it's not you, but truth be told, you know it's true. Rejection's wrath, project it out. You know what it's all about. Man up, get something done. But you just sit while others run. It pains you now where you should be. You're guestless fare, while they're marquee. If this is what you crave, let's see. Blab all you want, you won't fool me. Put action with your pretty speech. To grab your gold, you've got to reach. The dream will come by work and toil, not foolish, stagnant words that spoil. So, where's the man you say you'll be? Right now, consumed with jealousy? Their diligence has moved them far. You pose beflecked in trendy cars. By your facade, you're doing well, and hip spots hang, chat on your cell. You throw down hundies, drinks for all. You make a show, then hit the wall. I know that it can aggravate when you've done things that you now hate. How far can you go on your looks? Hey, take a class or read some books. Yeah, gain some smarts. Don't just believe that if you want it, you'll receive. That if you chant, pray, meditate, that everything will turn out great. Yeah, that may do your soul some good, but if you don't do what you should, you'll waste your time wishing on a star. Your target reached. It's where you are. Stop talking about what you will do. Leave Starbucks, take a step or two toward your ambition. Go for broke, or watch your life go up in smoke. Don't look to the left or to the right. Let action put your words to flight. Don't stay here till you're old and gray, still spouting what you'll do someday. If boast and blame remain your game, you'll never have your claim to fame. Man up, get something done, but you just sit while others run. It pains you now where you should be. You're guestless fare, while they're marquee. Final encouragement. If this message spoke to you, then you've got to take action. Write down the first step you need to take. Set a date and do it. Pray and ask God for courage and share this teaching with someone who needs encouragement. Live true, love hard, shine bright.